Welcome to the wisdom of rational emotive behavior therapy with inspiring quotes and music. Epictetus said, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them." Seneca said, "To rule yourself is the ultimate power." An anonymous individual said, "Good morning is not a greeting, it's a decision." William James said, "The world we see that seems so insane is the result of a belief system that is not working. To perceive the world differently, we must be willing to change our belief system. Let the past slip away, expand our sense of now, and dissolve the fear in our minds." Einstein said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." Marcus Aurelius said, "How ridiculous and how strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life." Winston Churchill said, "Let our advanced worrying become advanced thinking and planning." Viktor Frankl said, "What matters is to make the best of any given situation." Irvin Yalom said, "Sooner or later, we have to give up the hope for a better past." Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can or can't, you're right." The Buddha said, "What we think, we become." An Aikido principle is, you can't control the unexpected, but you can control your response to it. William James said, "Why should we think upon things that are lovely? Because thinking determines life. It is a common habit to blame life upon the environment. Environment modifies life, but does not govern life. The soul is stronger than its surroundings." Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The ancestor of every action is a thought." Seneca said, "There is no person so severely punished as those who subject themselves to the whip of their own remorse." The Bible in Romans 12:2 says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Viktor Frankl said, "The Statue of Liberty on the East Coast should be supplemented by a Statue of Responsibility on the West Coast." Eleanor Roosevelt said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." An anonymous individual said, "If I am not a part of the problem, there is no solution." St. Augustine said, "Judge the sin, not the sinner." Seneca said, "A person's fears are lighter when the danger is at hand." Viktor Frankl said, "Meaning rests on the attitude the patient chooses towards suffering." Marcel Proust said, "The real act of discovery consists not in finding new lands, but in seeing with new eyes." Robert Service said, "Be master of your petty annoyances and conserve your energies for the big, worthwhile things. It's not the mountain ahead that wears you out. It is the grain of sand in your shoe. An anonymous individual said, "Pilots have a saying, in order to learn how to fly in the wind, you have to fly in the wind." Nelson Mandela said, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear." Reinhold Niebuhr said, "God grant me the courage to change the things I can change, the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference." Rumi said, "Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself." Albert Ellis said, "You largely constructed your depression. It wasn't given to you. Therefore, you can deconstruct it." Margaret Mitchell said, "Life is under no obligation to give us what we expect." Haruki Murakami said, "Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional." Lao Tzu said, "Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner." A Chinese proverb says, "I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand." Michel de Montaigne said, "A man who fears suffering is already suffering what he fears." Viktor Frankl said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response." Rollo May said, "Courage is not the absence of despair. It is rather the capacity to move ahead in spite of despair." Thomas Edison said, "Opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and looks like work." Alfred Adler said, "The chief danger in life is that you may take too many precautions." Byron Katie said, "I am a lover of what is, not because I'm a spiritual person, but because it hurts when I argue with reality." An anonymous individual said, "Can you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be?" Clive Bell said, "Only reason can convince us of those three fundamental truths without a recognition of which there can be no effective liberty. One, that what we believe is not necessarily true. Two, that what we like is not necessarily good. And three, and that all questions are open." William Shakespeare said, "It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves." Irvin Yalom said, "The spirit of a man is constructed out of his choices." Einstein said, "Two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the universe." Sophocles said, "There is no witness so terrible, and no accuser so powerful as conscience which dwells within us." Janis Joplin said, "You can destroy your now by worrying about tomorrow." William James said, "The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another." Alfred Adler said, "Meanings are not determined by situations, but we determine ourselves by the meanings we give to situations." Albert Ellis said, "Stop shooting on yourself.